Today we will be creating a clay pot using the coil building technique. This is one of the 4 basic ways to make a pot. The 4 ways to build a pot are pinching the clay between your fingers, slab, rolling the clay into flat slabs, then connecting them together, coil, using ropes of clay coiled on top of each other, and thrown, using a throwing wheel to pull a lump of clay into a pot. For us, the coil pot allows us to make intricate forms while requiring few tools and materials. The materials we will need are a ball of clay, some water, a clay tool or fork, and a piece of paper. To start, dip your fingertips in the water and work a few drops into your clay. This is called warming it up and makes the clay easier to handle. You may do this 2 or 3 times depending on the dryness of the clay. Do not add too much water. If your hands look like you have been making mud pies, you have too much water. Once the clay is warmed up, break off a piece of it. It should be about 1/4 or 1/3 of the entire ball of clay. This will become the base of your pot. In your hands, roll the smaller piece of clay into a ball. Try to make it as round as possible, since this will help you later. Once you have the ball of clay, flatten it into a disc by pressing it onto your paper. Use the bottom of your hand to press out from the inside of the ball. If you had a round ball, you should get a circular disc. Try to keep the disc the same thickness all the way across. No thick middles and thin edges. When the disc is finished, use a little bit of water to smooth out any cracks on the outside edges. Now, take another piece of clay from the larger piece and begin rolling it into a log. This can be done right on your desk. Don't push too hard or you will make a mess. Roll the log going from the tips of your fingers to the bottom of your palm. This will make it round, not flat. As the log gets longer, you will have to move your hand from end to end as it rolls. You might need 2 hands for a long log. Try to keep the thickness of the log consistent. Now we have to stick the log and base together. When working with clay, we don't use glue. We slip and score. Scoring means to make lots of little lines in the clay. Using a tool or fork, score the edge of your base and one side of your log. You can never score too much. Slip is just watered down clay. It is the glue that will hold our project together. Take some water and rub it into the scored area. You will see the slip appear. Take your log and place it on the area that is scored and slipped. Coil the log around the entire base. If you come back to where you started, simply continue going on top of the log. After each log, you need to blend the coils together. With one hand, support the side of your pot. With the other hand, smush the coils to make a flat surface. You can do this either on the inside of the pot, the outside of the pot, or both, but you need to do it somewhere. See how the outside is now one solid piece? You can't see the coils anymore. Make sure to smush after each log. Keep building your pot up with more coils. You can make it flare out or curve in by placing the coils to the outside or inside of the one below it. Try to make an interesting form. Once you are done, turn the pot over and carve your initials into the bottom. It now has to dry and be fired. After the pot has been air dried, it is called greenware. It will break very easily at this stage. It will now be placed in the kiln and oven for clay and fired to a high temperature. When it comes out of the kiln, the clay will be hard and will have changed color. Notice that the piece on the left is greenware and the piece on the right is fired or bisqueware. Now that the clay is bisqueware, we can add glaze. Glaze will make the pot colorful and shiny. Using brushes, you can paint on whatever color you choose. After it is glazed, the pot will be fired again. You now have a shiny, beautiful pot built using the coil technique. Enjoy!